Massachusetts Senator Ed Markey has endorsed former Ohio State Senator Nina Turner in her run for Congress, saying, quote, she understands the need to address the global climate emergency through bold and transformational investments in our nation's human and physical infrastructure.
Just this week, Turner called out naysayers showing a picture of the Cuyahoga River 52 years ago, which spurred the creation of the EPA, and a current picture of the ocean on fire. Turner said, quote, to anyone who opposes a Green New Deal, I ask, what planet are you living on? Campaign surrogate for Nina Turner for Congress and author of First and Only, A Black Woman's Guide to Thriving at Work and in Life, Jennifer Farmer joins us now to discuss the campaign. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you for having me.
So Ed Markey's endorsement, I thought, was an interesting one because he was reelected to Congress on a thoroughly progressive platform with the backing of a ton of young people, and you can now see that investment in him by those young people paying off as he's becoming a lead champion for them. Are you seeing much youth energy in this special election, or is it because it's a special election it's not on enough people's radars?
Well, I definitely think that this special election is on the radar of people all across the country from different demographics and certainly different generations. The Sunrise Movement was an early supporter of Senator Turner. I think that nothing symbolizes the existential threat this country is facing, not just on climate, but in so many different areas, than seeing the Gulf of Mexico, the fire that we saw earlier this week or late last week. And so the movement is galvanizing support from people from all sectors and all walks of life.
Something interesting we've talked about in the context of this particular race is that, 5 years ago, somebody would have said a progressive running, in Cuyahoga County on a climate platform, and intensely on a climate platform and on Medicare for all. You can go down the line here. That seems crazy. But in this case, Nina Turner does have a lot of momentum, and things are different in the country right now than they were 5 years ago. What do you make of that, of the sort of way that Nina Turner is being pretty boldly progressive on a lot of these issues in a Midwestern state?
Nina Turner is speaking to the pain and the frustration that people have carried with them for years. And so when you are from a community that is among the poorest of large cities, when we see the threats that inaction on the climate has caused, when you see the devastation that's wrought by inaccessible and unaffordable health care, it kind of pushes you to be bold. And I think that if you judge her support, if you judge that by the fundraising numbers that she's seeing, this is what people want, and it's what they expect. It's not just what they expect on the campaign trail, but should she be elected, they want her to take this same vigor to Washington.
So Jennifer, one amendment to what Emily said, that this seat has actually been occupied, as you know, by single-payer supporters for a while now. What I'm curious about is what has the effect been of the big money that's come into the race against Nina Turner, and most of it for one of her opponents, Shontel Brown. You have pharma money that's coming in now that she's publicly supporting Medicare for all in this campaign. And we reported recently on the show that DMFI's super PAC is going to be spending a lot of money. This is Democratic Majority for Israel, though the ads don't have anything to do with Israel. Are you seeing a lot of that on the air, and is that going to affect the race?
So my message to people who are interested in Medicare for all, people who are concerned about the climate crisis, people who are concerned about addressing poverty, is we can take nothing for granted. And that means that with the influx of money from all the entities that you just mentioned, if we say that we want a progressive champion, then people in the district have to support a progressive champion. And that's happening. She's been fundraising, she's doing well. And I think when people see the influx of outside influences trying to dictate what people in this district want and what they need, it's very upsetting. And, with each activity, she actually has a phenomenal fundraising day. And so what we're saying to folks is we can't take anything for granted. If we share these values, if we believe in these values, and if we want the same thing, then it's important to make those investments financially. And if people don't have the wherewithal to invest, to tell their friends, early voting in the district began today. And for more information, people can go to ninaturner.com. But we're not taking anything for granted. We think that it's important that we put our wallets where our money and where our values are. And that's certainly been happening. And it's our expectation that will continue to happen throughout the duration of this special election primary.
So Ryan's point about Medicare for All is very well taken, and it's been one of those issues that has, though, gotten really polarized in a way that it wasn't before in recent years. And you're a surrogate for the campaign. I'm curious as to how you pitch Medicare for All in an area like this one to skeptical voters who may be even more worried. They're already worried about their health care. Maybe they're more worried about any major changes to it, who might be worried about the price tag. How is it that you go about pitching something like Medicare for All and like Nina Turner to voters who have those concerns?
Well, I'll start with what I mentioned earlier, that one, in Cleveland and Akron, the district that makes up the 11th Congressional District, people are hurting. Every day people are making determinations about how they afford their health insurance, whether they get the medical treatment that may save their life. And so the value proposition for people in this district, it's not as steep as partisan politics would have you believe. This is a matter of life and death, and being able to care for yourself and care for others, it's critically important. Senator Turner released an ad not too long ago where she talked about the toll that not having health insurance had on her family. And that's a very compelling message. It's one that's resonating across the district. And so Jennifer, I think that the key here is remembering, what do people in this community want? And I think if we place our focus there, we engage with them from that perspective, and we also earn their confidence and their trust that once she's elected, she will take their interest along with her when she goes to Washington.
Jennifer, real quickly, as somebody from the district, can you fill in viewers on the Cleveland mayoral race? Because Dennis Kucinich is running. It's fascinating, and I heard that he launched a campaign with kind of a tough on crime message, which was kind of dissonant with his kind of progressive career, perhaps, depending on how you frame it. And I'm just curious, from your perspective, does he have a shot at this? What are people thinking about the Cleveland mayor's race? Because as people may or may not know, he was mayor in the late 1970s, and this would be sort of an interesting cap to his career. Yeah.
And so one point of clarification, I'm physically located in Central Ohio, so I don't live in the district. So just want to clarify that. There are a lot of people across the country, especially gun rights advocates, not gun rights, but gun violence prevention advocates, who really feel that we have to be careful in this moment not to go to a tough on crime message. When there was research about this coming wave, this fictional wave of super predators, it resulted in mass incarceration. We're still feeling the effects. And I think there are a lot of gun violence prevention advocates who want to ensure that as we think about what communities need in this moment, that we're investing in community-based interventions and programs that actually have been proven to keep communities safe. So, that's probably all that I'll say on the mayoral race in Cleveland.
Fair enough. We'll let you off the hook on that. Jennifer Farmer, her book is called First and Only, A Black Woman's Guide to Thriving at Work and in Life. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And we will have more Rising for you right after this.